What is your reaction?
You ain't gonna do it?
I don't know.
You ain't gonna do it, Skip?
Say.
No, you can. You know what you can say? Do it.
There's really nothing left to say except, how about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
How about that Jerry Jones? You know what? Guess what just happened? Jerry Jones just won his first Super Bowl in the last 22 years. I am ready to make an early Super Bowl prediction. My Dallas Cowboys just beat Tom Brady and the Patriots in Super Bowl 52 in Minneapolis. I'm going to go on record already. I know it's early, but I am going on record because Shannon Sharpe, you were right all along, as was Chris Carter. You kept telling me it's going to be okay, that Jerry Jones will never be foolish enough to hang on to Tony Romo. And you were so right yesterday. You were the first person I thought of yesterday. Thank you very much. And I want to thank Jerry Jones for swallowing his bigger than Texas pride and his bigger than Texas ego and finally cutting bait with a quarterback that he considers and loves like a son, as you call him, Tony Romo Jones, a quarterback that I believe Jerry still believes in his heart of hearts is fully capable of still winning a Super Bowl. And I want to thank Jerry Jones for completely buying into Dak Prescott the way I bought into him, as you know, from early in the year, if not in the preseason, because that's what Jerry just told you. I buy completely into this kid. And I want to thank Jerry Jones for clearing a little bit of cap space and a whole lot of the decks of the Dallas Cowboys in the locker room and in the huddle for Dak Prescott to become the star quarterback I think he is destined and driven to become. And now there will be no threat of Tony Romo looking over Dak's shoulder or right there ready to replace him after one below average game or even one below average half. And I appreciate Jerry Jones for doing that. And finally, a defense that did rank 5th in points allowed, which is not all that bad, can be upgraded through free agency. And by the way, I wouldn't mind the Cowboys signing Darrelle Revis. That's just me, Darrelle at safety. I'm going to throw that out there, but there are a lot of mid-priced free agents that they can now make a run at. Maybe a pass rusher, maybe a corner, maybe anybody who can shore up the defense that is mostly Rod Marinelli getting his defense to overachieve.
You need a safety now because the Church is out.
The Church is going to Jacksonville. So, again, Darrelle could step in. I'm not saying he's even an every down safety, but he could help, even as a mentor to the safeties that they're going to have. But in the end, the draft is deep in corners and pass rushers. Now, I don't know which will fall to them at 28 or if they could move up a little bit to snatch one who was falling. But now the decks are cleared for all to get better, including Dak, including the defense, including me on Undisputed. And I am now ready to shout it across America. America's team will win next year's Super Bowl. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Joy. The show is yours. I'm done.
Skip, I always thought this was going to be the end result because once you saw Dak Prescott and how well he played, the longer that it went, you realized this was not a streak of luck. This wasn't a hot streak that this young man can sincerely play. And so I was like, no, there's no way. And listening to Jerry talk, Jerry is a salesman. You said he's the greatest salesman, great businessman.
Super salesman.
He was trying to drum up some trade because he had invested a lot of money in Tony Romo. And to see that investment all of a sudden walk out the door, it's almost like, Skip, you've paid, $25 million on a home, and all of a sudden you can't pay the taxes on it and you lose it. So all the money that you've invested in it walks out of the door.
Or you just walk away from your home like a lot of people have had to do.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you sit back, and even if you step back even further, okay, Jerry Jones is a businessman. Jerry Jones is a billionaire. What billionaire what businessman would buy something, could get something for $560,000, but chooses to pay $19 million? And that's what the difference is in salary. Dak Prescott's salary is $560,000. Tony Romo's salary would have been guaranteed at $19 million.
Yep.
It made no sense. Remember, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. This made no sense, and this wasn't going to make him dollars. I know Jerry said, yeah, we can fit it up under the cap, but Jerry was never going to do that. He was trying to sell. But Skip, here's the problem that he had. He had a broken down rocking chair, and I saw you get new furniture. I'm just going to wait until you sit this rocking chair aside the curb, and I'm going to come pick it up. And that's what the teams did. They knew he wasn't going back to Tony Romo. So why am I going to even give you a 7th-round draft pick when I know you're going to release him?
Unless you wanted exclusive negotiating rights with Tony Romo for a 7th-rounder, where he could be yours to deal with.
At the end of the day, Tony Romo is going to go to the best situation for him. And we're going to discuss that later.
We will.
But I've always thought that this was the situation that was going to happen, because now Jerry can go get him a pass rusher. He needs a pass rusher. He needs a corner. He can get him a safety. Skip, this is the Seattle Seahawks in reverse. Russell Wilson comes in.
Yep.
He outperforms the guy that they gave Matt Flynn $10 million guaranteed. He beat him out for the job. So now you've identified and found your quarterback, and you have him on a rookie contract for 3 to 4 years. Zeke is tied up. Dez Bryant is tied up. You've tied up all your offensive linemen.
Yep.
So now your undivided attention can go to the defensive side of the football where you've been lacking. Go get you a pass rusher. You're probably going to have to overspend, Skip, but you know in free agency, you always have to overspend, because if you don't, why would the guy leave a situation where he's comfortable in?
I
He
agree.
knows what to expect, so you have to overpay. Go get you a pass rusher. Go get you a corner. Hey, like you said, the draft is very, very deep in pass rusher. I think the corner situation is very deep.
Yep.
But you can go in free agency, and what you don't get in free agency, you can address in the draft. But this was the right decision for the Cowboys, and I never thought for a second that Jerry Jones was going to keep Tony Romo. Although he said Tony can make those kind of plays. He can, but he can't make them here for $19+ million.
I hear you. And bottom line, they had Josh McCown in for a visit, and I would be extremely happy if they could sign Josh McCown as the backup
Yes.
to Dak Prescott, because Josh McCown is a good man and a pretty good football
Yes.
player, and he will act and serve as a good mentor
Yes.
to Dak, who needs to continue to grow, obviously. And Josh McCown, to me, has proven to be much better than a Matt Castle or a Brandon
Yes,
Weeden,
yes,
right?
yes.
Where you know you could throw him in, because we saw what he
4,
did.
5, 6 games in Chicago.
Hey, or
Yes.
even for Cleveland, when he gets in, he will compete,
Yes,
man.
yes.
So I would be very content with that 1-2 punch at quarterback.
Yes.